What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel for the Morning Movie Chat. I am your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here today. I hope you're all having a very good Friday morning. As you know, I'm having a pretty good morning myself. You know, I can't really complain. Went to the movies last night with the kids. Came home and did a quick little live stream, kind of talking about one of the things we're going to talk a little bit more about today, and that is Jumanji: The Next Level. And also, in case you guys didn't know, Rabid actually just released on at select theaters and on video on demand today. We're going to go ahead and talk about that in just a little while. And obviously, we will finish up and wrap up with talking about The Mandalorian. Episode 6, and that's why it's such a good morning. Like I said, I got to go see a movie last night. Then I come here and hang out with you guys a little bit last night after that. And then Rabid released on video on demand today, so I'll probably watch that later tonight, maybe after the Trailer Park Live. And then this morning, I gotta wake up and watch episode 6 of The Mandalorian. And I'm telling you guys, it's just been a great morning. I've been awake since 3 a.m. So for you East Coasters, that's 6 a.m. because you guys are a little bit ahead of us, and that's not fair. That's why it's not fair to people like me, because you guys get to watch these shows just a little bit sooner and get your reviews up just a little bit sooner than me. You know what I mean? And I'm that kind of guy. Like, if I can't be the first to put a video up about it, I'm not gonna put up a video about it. And you all beat me. You know what I'm gonna start doing? I think what I'm gonna start doing, just to beat everybody to the punch, just to beat everybody to their little reviews and everything, what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to start live streaming me watching the show, live reacting to it. Yes, that's right, guys. I'm just going to start doing reaction videos to every single episode of The Mandalorian, so then nobody will beat me to the review, because I'll be reviewing it as we go. That's right, guys, because I've got to be the first. You guys may not know this, but I actually already uploaded my review of The Rise of Skywalker. I just can't show it to you guys yet. But I've got my review ready to go. It's posted and waiting. I think I'm just going to wait till maybe I'll wait till Saturday or something. Post it up there. Beat everybody to the punch. Everybody's got to be the first, right? Well, I'm the first this time, dang it. I'm going to do it so soon that Disney's going to come through and demonetize my channel, or at least that video anyway. They're going to block it. They're going to say, hey, you can't post this yet, Mr. Guy. I'm going to say, hey, man, it's not really a movie review. It's just me sitting there going, hey, this movie's out. You might want to go see it to see if you're going to like the rest, how the Star Wars ends or not. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, guys. But before we go ahead and get into today's show, I do want to let you all know that if you'd like to support the channel and send in anything, I'm not monetized here, but there are still ways where you can send in super chats here to the channel. You can follow the links down in the description. They're there at the very top where you can go, and if you would like to, you can donate money to the channel via Streamlabs via direct donation, or you can even become a monthly Patreon supporter. And honestly, I think it would be awesome to have you as a Patreon supporter. I do have a growing list of Patreon supporters, and you can see all their names down there. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. Thank you all to all my Patreon supporters who support the channel with their hard-earned dollars. I do greatly appreciate every single one of those people. And and thank you to everybody who has been donating through Streamlabs as well. I know Lou, one of our brothers from down under, has been very supportive here of the channel in that way. And thank you very much, Lou. If you're out there watching right now, you're the man, dude. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. So let's see who else here. We got Lonely Banter, Wookiee Supremacy, who may be finishing up watching the Mandalorian episode 6 right now. And don't worry, guys, we're not going to get into spoilers or anything. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that this evening. But we'll talk a little bit about the episode. Kind of what I thought about it. Maybe some of the people who were in it, and that's a bit nothing really bad. And let's see, we also got Maverick Pilgrim here this morning. Thank you so much for being here, Maverick. Terrazon. And these two are some of our awesome Patreon supporters right here in Maverick Pilgrim and Terra. Alex Dobbs, thank you so much for being here, man. Glitter and Duct Tape, thank you so much for being here as well. So let's see what everybody has to say today. Lonely Banter says, I am here. He says, people are actually doing that. Oh, I guess you're talking about the uploading uploading the videos already, right? Their trailer reactions or their movie reactions to Rise of Skywalker. Dang it! Did they already beat me? Gosh, dang it, man! I'm gonna, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna do it anyway and post my movie reaction to Rise of Skywalker. um, let's see. Maverick Pilgrim says, I made it at the beginning. Yes. All right. He says, I'll be in and out because of work. Yeah, no problem, man. It's all good. I totally understand. And good morning to you, Maverick and Tara as well. Thank you for being here. Alex Dobbs says, Jumanji was awesome. Yes, it really was. This seems like it's one of those rare franchises, and it just seems to like get better as it goes along. Now, obviously, it kind of depends on what you look at, and there's different reasons that I have for feeling that way as well, and I'll explain those in just a few minutes. Glitter and Duct Tape says, good morning, fam, and Trinity. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? LB says, no, the watch along videos. Dang it, are they? Are they already doing the watch along videos? Dang it. But are they doing reviews and reactions with it? I don't know, man. That's funny though. That's funny. I mean, it figures. You got to be the first. Everybody's got to be the first to do something. And that's okay. I get it. But guys, when it comes to some of these kinds of things, like it's all good to go ahead and do that. But you know what? Sometimes it's okay to sit there and think on something. Give it a little bit of time. Because if people want to see what you have to say, they're gonna come no matter what. You don't have to be the first. They're not worried about you being the first to do it. You just got to do it, and you got to do it in your own unique way. You don't have to do it better, per se. You just got to do it in your own unique way and be yourself. Tara says, I'm midway through 6 Underground, which is good so far. Yeah, okay, yeah, on episode 6. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. Aggressively relaxing says, I stream my dog's reaction to me watching the Mando every Friday. That's great. That's great. You should do that. You should do that. Make sure, yeah. Maybe we need to be going and watching your reaction videos aggressively, because that's just hilarious. This is the dogs. This is the dogs reacting to me, reacting and giving my review to the Mando live as it airs. That's hilarious. All right. Okay. So yeah, guys, the first thing I want to talk about here today is the Soska Sisters remake of Rabid. I've talked about this movie several times here on the channel. I've made posts about it, and also I've talked about the Soska Sisters plenty because they wrote Black Widow, trade paperback that's now available called No Restraints Play, that you should go out to your local comic book shop and get. If you don't have a local comic book shop near you, you could probably order it on like Amazon or something like that, or one of the online comic shops. My local comic book shop does not sell things online, just something they don't want to do. They're more about the reader and the local people, so that's cool with me, and that's something that I enjoy about them. But the oh man, that's not what I meant to do. But yeah, so it just became available. Rabid 2019 is a remake of a 1977 David Cronenberg classic, which I actually just started watching last night. I bought the Blu-ray here a couple weeks ago, and I started watching it last night as I fell asleep. And I thought I was gonna make it through, man. I fell asleep. It must have been a long day. But so I was watching that, but then I went and seen the 2019 remake when it premiered at Screamfest LA just couple months ago at this point, and it's a very good movie. If you like horror flicks, this one's it's a great horror flick. It's more body horror, so it's not going to be, there's none of those cheap jump scares or anything like that in it. Just good practical effects, good gory effects. There's even some a monster in it as well. I guess a creature, if you will. Very, very cool stuff. And I think this is actually a really great remake. I think it's one you guys should definitely go and check out. It is at select theaters across the United States, but it is also available on video on demand. I believe you can buy it on Apple, through Apple, you know what I'm talking about, Apple TV or Apple, iTunes. You can buy it through iTunes. You can buy it on I believe it's probably available on Amazon Prime as well, and even Vudu as well. So you can go and watch it on any of those. And again, that is Rabid, Rabid. Go check it out, guys. Very good movie. Very good movie. And I can't wait to watch it again. I can't wait to watch it again because, like I said, I was watching the original last night, and I'm like, you know what? I think because if you haven't ever seen a David Cronenberg movie, for one, it's something you just got to do. Okay, you got to you got to go watch it because as I went down his list of movies that he had done, I realized I was like, man, I seen a lot of these movies when I was a kid, and I remember most of these movies. Like Videodrome was one of those ones I remember watching that when I was a little kid. It was like it was like scary to me, but it was creepy and like it wasn't scary like crazy. It was just like some of the things that were going on. I was like, ooh, you know, but you know, it's a great movie. And and so I was watching the original Rabid last night. I was like, man, okay, this you could tell he definitely has a style. And I believe Rabid was, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was actually Cronenberg's first movie. I could totally be wrong there. I could totally be wrong, and we could go ahead and we could even check IMDb on that because it was a very good movie and um, yeah, I mean it's one you should definitely see. And then go watch this remake and compare the two. Compare the two and see what you think about it. Um, the difference in them. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Rabid, Cronenberg, Cronenberg, Cronenberg. There we are. Okay, let's see. Filmography, all, director. Let's scroll down to the very bottom here. Okay, 1966 was transfer. Okay, so it must have been. Yeah, I guess it was. I guess it wasn't his first. One, two, three, four. Looks like you got some TV shorts, some TV series. Yeah. Okay. Shivers came before that as well. Winter Garden. Yeah, I guess he did quite a bit. It looks like it was probably one of his first like bigger, probably bigger budget movies. But yeah, this movie was very good. This remake was very good. You guys should definitely go check it out. And I remember sitting at the theater when I watched it. I remember sitting there watching it, kind of like thinking like you know like a horror movie. I'm sitting there watching it, and I remember finding myself sitting there with I didn't have resting bitch face, but I had resting whore face, I guess you could say, because there was a couple of parts like they were getting kind of gory enough. I was sitting there like, and I find myself sitting there after the scene happened, kind of like, oh okay, I still got my horror face on because I'm sitting there like, yeah. So hopefully nobody was watching me at the theater. If they were, if I would have had live reaction to that, if I'd have had that live streamed, I'd have probably had an audience, man, because it would have been pretty funny. It would have been pretty good. People would have been amused, to say the least. But yeah, definitely go check it out. Again, these the Soska sisters are they're very talented young ladies, and one of these days somebody's going to give them a big budget to play around with and get them a bigger budget movie, and they're they're going to be happy that they did. One of these days, somebody and hopefully they get the right movie and they get that budget and get given probably I'd say the due credit they deserve in getting a bigger budget movie to do and direct, especially. And you know, I honestly don't think that when it comes down to that, that it will necessarily maybe be a horror movie that they'll get that bigger budget for, because it seems like. You know, I'm not sure that their style of movie making is what a bigger budget horror producers want. You know what I mean? I don't know that it's that. So I think they might find their success in doing something else, maybe out of that genre with a bigger budget. Maybe I could be wrong. I mean, but hopefully they do get something and get one of these bigger budgets because we can see what they've done with a modest budget in Rabid. And I think they put together a very good movie. And I think I even said in my review of it, the worst the worst acting in it is probably done by I think it's Benjamin Hollingsworth, who plays the would-be boyfriend in the movie, and I say his is the worst. Not even saying that it's bad. It's just his is probably the worst performance. And if you think like in the context of the movie, like it's something that like would be probably somebody's natural reaction to if these things were happening in their real life anyway. So I think there's a little bit with that. So you know, it wasn't overplaying things. You know, trying to oversell things. I guess you could say. And yeah, the movie is just great. And I was noticing in the soundtrack of the original Rabid movie, I could hear some of that soundtrack, some of the same, I guess, the same sounds and the same like kind of music going on here, setting the tone as it is in the 2019 remake. And it was cool because I was sitting there watching. I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I remember hearing this music like when I was watching Rabid at the theater. So again, very good stuff. I think it's definitely a movie. You can tell that the Soska sisters, especially if you go back and watch my video I dropped on Monday, where it was they did a Q&A after the movie. But the video that I did starts off with a little introduction they did before the movie had started, talking about kind of like the industry, if you will, like the music industry, or not but the movie industry. And there was actually a company working on wanting to remake Rabbit anyway, and they had a director, they had somebody attached to it, but then they, I guess, for whatever reason, they didn't move forward with that director and looked to somebody else. And apparently, what this company did was they typed in Cronenberg and what they type in Cronenberg and something and something else, David Cronenberg and maybe Rabbit or something, and the Soska sisters' name popped up, and that was pretty much how they got the job. The people called them like, hey, and they went ahead and did it because they felt that the industry was going to do it anyway, and they grew up loving David Cronenberg and his work anyway, and they felt that they were the right ones to do it. And there was a pretty funny little intro to that video if you go watch it, the one I dropped on Monday, and you can tell that these ladies do love this movie and had a lot of fun making this film. As it looks like, just from the people they worked with, it looks like they have fun making films anyway. And that's something that is good on any set. It seems like a lot of times you'll see and hear about a movie having problems, with production, like the director, having problems with, the producer or the actors or anything like that. To me, that ultimately sounds like people not having fun while making a movie. And I don't care what movie you're making, you should be having fun doing it. Even if you have hard performances and hard things that you got to do, like you can see, remember, that footage that showed up on, God, what was that show? Was that Kimmel, where they had Joaquin Phoenix on there, and they showed that behind the scenes footage of him yelling at whoever it was, maybe the script supervisor, whoever it was that was talking in the background, and you seen Joaquin Phoenix just kind of being an ass to him. Well, you gotta think that he's trying to get into character, he's trying to be in character and all that stuff, and that could have just been a gag reel, in the first place. But ultimately, he's trying to get into character and be in character, and that's just stuff that just happens in movies when people are trying to get the right take and trying to be and not even just method actors, but trying to get into that role and get the performance that you're looking for. It's not an easy task, but even then, I can guarantee you, through all of that, they were still having fun making that movie, even when times are tight and there's tension and things like that. That doesn't mean that they're not having fun making the movie. You can still have fun while still being that way. Because it's still serious work, and you got to take it seriously at times. So, yeah, like I said, this movie, it was very good. Definitely need to go check it out, especially if you like horror, especially if you're into body horror. It was funny too because I mentioned in my comic book review this week that I did of X Force. It was a triple feature. You should go back and watch that review as well. I actually even bring up the Soska sisters in there because the title X Force, that's of these new Dawn of X comic books coming out that are tying in to the X-Men and everything. Anyway, I'm going to tie this up really quick. It's kind of turned into a body horror comic book, and I was like, maybe they need to get the Soska sisters on this. And it was funny because my brother Chillmonger actually made a funny, he made a comment in the video oh, he's like, I find that funny. You still had to bring the Soska sisters. I'm like, it happens. I'm fans of their stuff. Okay, I can't help it. I can't help it. But yeah, make sure that you guys, if you get a chance, make sure you check that out this weekend. If you don't want to go out there and support another remake in Black Christmas, you should watch Rabid instead, because you don't even have to go to the theater. If you're in one of the cities where it's playing in select theaters, you could just sit there and watch it from the comfort of your home. Yeah, and it'll be available on disc, I believe, on February 4th. Okay, Aggressively Relaxing says, as the first person to ever make videos about Star Wars, I gotta keep it fresh. I know. And if you don't know what Aggressively Relaxing is talking about there, guys, you need to go to Aggressively Relaxing's channel. And you need to go to his channel and watch that he was the first person ever to post a Star Wars reaction video, and you should go watch it. You should go watch it. He just did that. I believe that was last week that he posted that video. You should go watch it. Rosetta Allen, good morning. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is going well. Looks like you've been having some health related issues. Hopefully those everything gets better for you. Sure hope everything gets better for you. Brian the Observer, good morning. How are you doing, sir? How are you doing? Let's see. Perp Minded is here. How you doing? Neil Taylor, what up? How are you doing? The Lonely Banter says, you the Star Wars OG, aggressively relaxing. Yeah, I'm telling you, go watch his video. Go watch his video. You'll see that he was the first person to ever do a reaction video to a Star Wars movie. And probably you know what? Aggressively relaxing was the first fandom menacer. Yeah, yeah. He's the Godfather. Yeah, yeah. I shit you not. Go watch the video. Go watch the video. He's the Godfather. I am True Skills. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? I am True Skills. You know, I just watched one of your videos. Was it one? I can't remember which one it was. I just watched one of your videos. I am True Skills. Just keep up what you're doing, man. You're doing a good job. Dylan's Comic Book Rants. How are you doing? Let's see. Did I say what's up to Perp? I know I seen Perp up there. Perp says you're aggressively relaxing. Says I just googled Cronenberg movies and it told me to take your weird ass to Bing. That's funny. That's funny. United Comics Universe, good morning. How are you doing? Another great comic book YouTuber. You guys should definitely go check out his stuff. Aggressively says, Second Street walks onto the set of Schindler's List. Hey everyone, lighten up. We're making a movie. Well, isn't that a comedy? It's not. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. It's just a joke, okay? But hey, Schindler's List is a great movie. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Like I said, guys, go check out Rabid. You don't even have to go to the theater to watch it. It is in select theaters, but you can watch it from the comfort of your own house tonight, as a matter of fact, right now. But wait till after the stream to go watch it. The next thing I want to talk about here is Jumanji the Next Level. Guys, I did do I guess you could say somewhat of a reaction video last night when we got home from the theater. I actually tried to stream it from my phone, but for whatever reason, the Streamlabs app was not wanting to cooperate with my phone, so it didn't show up, and man, who knows? Because I know sometimes it needs a good connection to be streaming, and at the theater, it probably just doesn't get very good reception. But Jumanji the Next Level is now out at theaters. It just premiered. Well, it premieres today, but you know how it works these days. It was at the theater yesterday, and you know what? I actually even seen they had like a Fathom Events kind of thing yesterday, where you could pay $20 to go watch it a couple hours earlier than I got to watch it for $10. I'm not sure what's up with that. Why it's so important to go see it 2 hours earlier than everyone else, but I'm sure somebody paid $20 to watch this movie. I didn't pay that much. Would I pay that much to watch Jumanji the Next Level? I'm probably going to end up watching it. I'm probably going to end up paying that much to watch it again anyway, in the long run, per person, I guess you could say, because I took my kids to see it and they actually liked it. You know, my kids they're little movie buffs as well. I actually liked it. I thought it was a good movie. Would I go see it a second time at the theater? Yes. We went to see it in IMAX 2D, as a matter of fact. I don't know if it was in 3D or not. We just went to see it in 2D. Very good movie. It picks up, you know, kind of a little bit after, you know, a couple years after the original, or not the original, the second Jumanji does, Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, as the kids they kind of grew up, they went to college and things like that, and they kind of grew apart a little bit, and that's kind of what this story is talking a lot about. You know, a lot of the talking points in this story are about people who kind of grow apart and finding their way back together, you know, back to being friends, rekindling friendships, if you will. Whereas, you know, the first one was really more about getting, you know, it did that. It rekindled a friendship with two characters in the movie, but altogether, it was more kind of like the Breakfast Club, getting a group of kids who weren't friends to interact with each other, who became friends. So it's kind of like the Breakfast Club in that sort of way, where this one like I said, is more about rekindling those friendships that they had made and those connections that they had made, as they are had now they are now in college. So it was cool in that sense, and also that same kind of theme goes forward into the other characters with Danny DeVito and Danny Glover's characters, as well, as they are old friends who are getting back together to kind of rekindle their friendship. Um, so I thought it was very good. It has a lot of good heartfelt moments in it, and has plenty of laughs in it as well. One of the things I would definitely say is Dwayne Johnson. He's getting better at acting. His acting chops are getting better. He's getting more adept, getting more skills, and that's something good. That's something I want to see more of. Obviously, he's been been doing. Well, for the most part, he's done action movies and some comedies as well. Things like The Game Plan, and even things here like Jumanji, where it's more of a comedy than it is an action movie. And so obviously action's in his wheelhouse, just given his background and everything, and obviously his physiology as well. But he is, and the comedy would kind of go along with that, because in the wrestling where he had to come up, a lot of that is about performance as well. There's a lot of performance going on with there, along with a lot of the physical activity that they go through. So he's getting better, because he's getting better at his acting chops and being more dramatic, being conveying those kinds of emotions, emoting, I guess, more than anything on screen. He's getting better, and we can see that here in this movie, as he does actually play the role of Danny DeVito, if you will, pretty well. Conveys a lot of that kind of stuff. And to say the same thing about Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's getting better at not just being Kevin Hart. Better. I'm not saying that like it's a huge improvement, but he is getting better here, and we see that in this movie as well, where he is playing Danny Glover's character for a little while, because some things happen through the movie where things kind of get switched up a little bit. The characters kind of change a little bit, but altogether, I thought it was a good, heartfelt movie. Some pretty good action, some pretty good comedy in it as well. Now, there is one thing that I wanted to talk about in this movie that I was kind of like, oh man, um, there are like there was one joke that kind of took me out of it towards the very beginning. Some jokes made by Fridge, the character Fridge in the movie, which is, if you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it, you don't remember. Fridge is the black kid in the movie, when he's younger, and then when he gets into the game, he's actually Kevin Hart's character. But in this one, he's actually he's actually in another body, avatar, if you will, in the game as well for a little while, and that kind of goes back and forth. But towards the very beginning, he makes the character of Fridge makes this joke, and guys, I don't care. Like, I don't care about making fun of people and their race and all that stuff. I don't care about that kind of stuff. It's okay. It's fine. You wanna go and do those kinds of things. You wanna make fun of black people. You wanna make fun of white people. It's all good. I'm okay. However, I feel there's a way of doing it as well. You know what I mean? Like, you can be offensive and do it too, but like, there's a way of doing it, and there's a way of not doing it. And there are times and places to do it, and they did that in this movie. The character Fridge makes a joke about about white people in this movie, and like I said, I'm not against that. It's the way in which it's done, and the way that it was done here in this movie. It just didn't play well, and I didn't think it fit well. And towards there at the beginning of the movie, it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. I was kind of like, like that hurts. I'm because like I said, I'll laugh it up and joke about those kinds of things. I don't care about that, And like me, I'm not even like, I'm only half white, guys. So, and if you want to boil that down to more things, I'm not even white. There is no white. But the point being is, I laugh at stuff like that too. You know what I mean? I'm not offended by that kind of stuff. But a lot of it is in the way that it's done, and in the movie here, it wasn't done very well. I was like, it's just out of place here. Like, this is a movie for kind of like younger audiences as well, and the way that it came off in the movie and the way that it came off altogether is kind of like, they shouldn't have done that. They should have took that out, just not put that in, because the way, and especially the way the joke was playing anyway in the situation, there's easily ways that you could have made that same joke in 10 different ways, just right off the top of my head, that you could have made that joke and made it more fitting to the movie and made it land better for audiences. just in my opinion. And then the thing is about 15-20 minutes later, they make a very similar joke in the same thing. And it's funny because earlier in the day, was it, God, I think it was on Wednesday, Young Ripa actually did a video talking about this exact same thing, as far as this interview that Gal Gadot was in, and even like Henry Cavill, where they were talking about people and everything. But anyway, Young Ripa 59 even said in his video, the one thing is you don't, basically what it comes down to, you don't have to kick others down to make a good joke or to prop other people up. You don't have to disparage others. You can bring people up and laugh and joke and have good times, and empower people without disparaging others. And that's kind of what these jokes came off as in this movie, is kind of disparaging to other people, as opposed to just like making like a joke about it. You know what I mean? It's okay, like I said, it's okay to be offensive and things like that. I have no problems with that. It's just here, it wasn't well placed. It just didn't fit with what was going on. But that in itself kind of made me question, just seeing that happened those two times kind of made me question, like I was kind of like, it was in the back of my head throughout the rest of the movie. Because there's some other things that happen in this movie where some of the characters get switched up in the avatars in the game. And you see one of the girls look at one of the other girls in the movie in kind of like a way you're like, oh no, they're not doing. They're not going to do this, and they didn't do what was in the back of my head, just due to that joke that was done earlier in the movie. And it's not like SJW agenda stuff. It's just it was just some of the things, the way they came off. I was just like, this doesn't feel like it fits here. And then, like I said, there was those illusions later. I was like, oh no, they're not going to do this, are they? And they didn't. Thankfully they didn't. But other than that, the movie is good. I will say, in Act 1, the buildup of the movie, I would say like the first half hour or so of the movie, I thought like that build up and everything, because here's the challenging thing when you're making sequels and things like that. And I was talking about this yesterday, is when you're making a first movie, and Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle was not the first Jumanji movie, but if you think about it, it's not necessarily a reboot and it's not necessarily a remake neither. It is a sequel, because really what they done was they updated the game, is all they really done. So that's why I said I'll say that it's not necessarily a reboot and it's not necessarily a remake. It's actually just a sequel more than anything, because they updated the movie. And what they had to do though was they had to introduce new characters and get you to care about them. And that's something very important when you're doing a first movie. And that's why I think a lot of sequels end up not being as good, is because the writers and the filmmakers at that point have a lot more playtime, because they don't have to introduce these characters. They don't have to get you to like them. They don't have to get you to buy into them, because you're already invested in them. So then, from a storytelling aspect, it's a little bit more of a challenge to go and do something new and fresh and different, because you don't have to introduce the characters and get them to be somebody that you care about and want and have to get to know. So there's that challenge there, and they didn't have that in this movie. Whereas they did introduce a couple of characters at the beginning, and you kind of had to buy into them a little bit. There was some of that. But I feel like the first half hour or so of this movie, it seemed to kind of drag on. It almost seemed a little just bit dry and a little bit drab. Like I was just kind of like, can we just move this along? Like just get to the fun stuff, the movie stuff. It just like the first, like I said, it was probably those first 20 minutes or so that were just a little slow moving, and they seemed a little, like I said, a little bit dry. It almost seemed like there wasn't even like really much of a score going on in the background, anything kind of. It just seemed very, very simple. Again, it wasn't bad. It just it seemed like there was no real tone to it. It didn't seem like they were really trying to be like very serious. It didn't seem like they were trying to be funny. And maybe it's because there were some serious kinds of things going on, and I don't know, like the drama or even any kind of comedy didn't really get played up here at all. Like there was no real, like the first 20 or so minutes just really had no direction. But then after that, it gets, they start to get into the game and everything kind of picks up. And that's when a lot of I guess the tomfoolery, if you will, picks up a lot of the action and the entertainment, and that's when it really got good. And I do think even my kids thought that this movie was a little bit funnier. I thought that this movie was funnier than the first one as well, in some aspects. Actually, in a lot of aspects, I thought it was funnier. And in a lot of ways, I thought it was better than Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. But let me know what you guys think. Did you guys see Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, and if you did, what did you think about it? And hey, did you notice that joke from Fridge as well? I mean, is it just me that seeing that joke and was kind of like, it didn't really, for me, it just didn't go there. But let me know what you guys think if you happen to see this. Will Gentry says, Second Street Marvel, why not First or Third Street? Well, because Second Street is the street in which me and my friends grew up at, hanging out and everything. That's where the Second Street comes from. And the Marvel doesn't just come from Marvel Comics. It's just because, look up the word Marvel, and you'll see that I am truly the Marvel of Second Street. But that's why. And also because it's like, when I used to watch football, I was a fan of the Chicago Bears, and they call Chicago Second City. And there's also the comedy troupe Second City that came out of Chicago as well. So it's second. And plus it just happened to grow up on Second Street, and it all just kind of plays out, right? It just all kind of works. It just kind of works. Lou, good day. How you doing? He says, can't say just dropping in to leave a like. Take care. All right, Lou, have a good one, man. We'll see you later. Don't forget to come back and check out the rest of the video later, man. I'm True Skill says, Trinity, I got a question. I'm reading Doctor Doom, the current series. Is Doom 2099 a tie-in? You know what? I'm curious about that too, because I haven't been reading the new Doom series. I know you have, and I haven't read the Doom 2099 yet. I've actually got to go pick that one up to review. I'm curious about that as well, but I gotta be honest with you, I honestly don't care at this point, because the 2099 series, they've been bad. They haven't been good. I haven't read a good one yet. And I wouldn't say that they're bad, like as in like terrible, like terribly written or anything. They just don't seem like there's nothing really, it doesn't seem like there's anything going on in them that's important, that's driving the story forward. You get more of the story and everything that's probably going on for this 2099 event in Amazing Spider-Man, and there's, so far, I've found zero reason to read any of the 2099 tie-ins. So that's just me. That's just me. But I could be wrong there. You have to probably watch some other people. Maybe there's somebody out there who's liked the 2099 event and has liked these books. But for me, I haven't. And like I said, for me, they just don't seem like they're doing anything to build the story or anything. Aggressively Relaxing says, Doom 2099 is not a tie-in to current Doom Mini. Okay, all right. So it's not. I guess there's the answer. Wookiee Supremacy says, I'm here. Oh, or is that over here? Sorry, C-3PO. It's never mind. Dylan's Comic Book Rant says, I hear that Aggressively Relaxing. Same here. Just watching this new Purge TV show. I'm late to binging season 1. Kind of like it so far. I must have missed something there. United Comics Universe says, I have to go now. Time to eat. All right, man. Enjoy your breakfast or lunch if you're out on the East Coast. You have a good one. Love the live chat and love and respect to all. Yeah, man. Have a good one. Take it easy. Aggressively Relaxing says, The Rock acted his ass off in Tooth Fairy. Jeff Bridges robbed him of Best Actor. Right. I'm not sure if I've seen all of Tooth Fairy. I think I've seen part of it, though. That's funny. Wookiee Supremacy says, it's super trendy to hate on white people these days. Yeah, and the thing is like, they were really hating on them, and like I said, I don't care about that, because, I've got a friend, he always remarks about it too, but I'm like, look, we've all made, I'm half Mexican, half German, Danish, all kinds of different things, Native American, I'm a lot of stuff. But, like, I've grown up making fun of everybody. I have no problems laughing at black people jokes, laughing at Mexican jokes, laughing at Puerto Rican jokes, laughing at jokes about white people. I have no problem with that. But it's usually the manner in which it's done more than anything. You know what I mean? Like, offensive is cool. I don't mind offensive. That's fine. But it's when you're actually... And it's not even about stereotyping. It's just, for me, it's really more in the way it's done in the comedy. And that goes for any of the racial jokes out there. You know what I mean? it's the context and the way in which it's done. It's not the fact that it being trendy to hate white people, but I do know what you're saying. As in, it's okay to make these, because like I said, it's not even playing on a stereotype. It's like actually just like being like disparaging towards white people. Like even when I see like some jokes out there that are disparaging Mexicans or disparaging black people, because there's a way that it's done where it's kind of like that's not even really funny. It's not even really offensive. It's just tasteless humor, and that's kind of what I felt it was here. It was just like tasteless humor. Like there's no purely tasteless. Cause and like I said, because I have no problem with offensive jokes, whether they're offensive sexually, racially, anything like. I have no problem with that. It's usually the manner in which it's done. But yeah, and that seems to be what it is. Is like the tasteless kind of humor seems to be rampant now. But yeah, it's not necessarily. It's just usually, and I'm sure you probably know what I'm talking about. It's in the way it's done. You know what I mean? Because like I said, one of my friends, he has a problem with it. He says stuff too, and I'm like, well, that I actually thought was funny. I think you're just being sensitive to it. Like everybody gets made fun of. Everybody gets made fun of. But it's when it's done the certain way. Like I said, where I see some of them, and I'm like, it's not funny. It's not even offensive. It's just not necessary. Sith Lord says, cheers, chat, and second street. How are you doing this morning? Aggressively relaxing says, I want to see the backstory of a supernatural jungle being pitching his new game to Sega. He is really excited about its release until white people screw him out of the rights. So you want to see a backstory of Kraven the Hunter pitching a new game to Sega, huh? I can't wait to see that video, aggressively relaxing, because you're already thinking about it. I'm waiting to see that one. Will Gentry says, cool. Sith Lord says, blaming whites or any race is just a sign of poor character and weakness that pathetic people use instead of taking responsibility for their own failures and shortcomings. Yeah. And the thing is here is like there wasn't like in the movie there wasn't any like blaming whites or anything. It was just like a tasteless joke. Like it was like a humorless. It was just like a humorless jab as opposed to like being a joke, like something that was funny. I just felt that it wasn't the time and the place for that joke in this movie. I mean, it didn't even belong in this movie. That was the thing. It didn't even fit in this movie. That's why I when I seen it, I was kind of like, did they do that? They just did that. Why would they do that? But again, it only happened twice, and it was, and it was over with. And it was in, like, probably the bad part of the movie, which was, like, the first act, the build-up, the first, like, 20 or 30 minutes or so of the movie, which, kind of needed to speed it up and move it along anyway. The only bad thing about it, but yeah, I hear what you're saying, Sith Lord. Will Gentry says it's lazy writing. Unless it's a movie about racism, blaming a whole class of people like that is just lazy writing. It's an easy out when you can't think of anything clever to write. Well, see, and that's the thing. Like they weren't blaming anybody. It was just like it was one of those jokes where it was like like I can't even remember something like oh, why am I hanging out with these crazy ass white people or something like that, and just like the way it came off was like it just doesn't fit in the movie. Like they're your friends. That's probably why you're hanging out with them. Yeah, it was just the way that it was done. Where like I said, there was no blame or anything going on. It's just like this one thing, and believe me, I didn't let it ruin the whole rest of the movie, and it in itself wasn't. It was just a not well timed joke in the wrong movie is what it was. It's a movie for younger audiences, and we shouldn't be perpetuating those kinds of things out there for younger audiences to be gobbling up. Because like I said, there's easily 10 other ways to make the joke that he made in the movie both times. There's at least 10 other ways to make that exact same joke without saying what they said in there, because like I said, I heard it and I was like, they could have said that differently, easily said that differently, and that's what it was about more than anything. Wookiee Supremacy says offensive is fine, hateful isn't. Cringe. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of what it was. It wasn't offensive, and it wasn't really even like hateful, but it was like disparaging in that way. Like you'd have to see it in the context of what I'm talking about to know what I'm talking about. But I have a feeling you know exactly what I mean. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the offensive or anything. It's just like when it's done in certain ways, it's kind of like ugh. And again, to me, it doesn't fit the theme of the movie in the first place. It doesn't fit the audience of the movie neither. I think that's what it was more than anything. Will Gentry says, I think as long as it's good natured with no malice, you should be able to make fun of anyone for pretty much anything. Yeah, and again, even in this one, it didn't seem like it was made with malice. It just seemed like maybe the joke sounded good on paper, and maybe when they were shooting the movie, they thought it sounded good, but maybe they didn't think to how it came off. You know what I mean? In the movie. Because maybe it was just his tone or the way that it was said, more so than actually what was said. All I know is it didn't feel like it fit where it was at. You know, it just didn't feel like that comment really fit in this movie neither. But other than that, I mean, you know, like I said, I got over it. And Wookiee Supremacy says, how many more racism movies are really needed? Yes, we know. White man bad. Speaking of which, you know, I still haven't gone to see Harriet. I've been curious about going to see that one. I just haven't made it to see it yet. And I know I should probably admit that because somebody is gonna say that I'm really bad things in the comments now because I said that. Aggressively Relaxing says, so I made this board game and want to turn it into a video game. Says magical jungle entity. White people take advantage of him, so he curses the game. Boom, Jumanji explained. That sounds like a great video. Aggressively, I'm waiting to see it. I'm waiting to see it because that's hilarious. Yes. Black Angus reviews. What's up, my brother? How you doing? Black Angus, why are you copying drunk, man? You coming into my chat saying what's up? That's copying drunk, dude. That's what drunk does. And anyway, guys, if you don't know, it's just a kind of an ongoing joke here that I've got with Black Angus here. Will Gentry says, yeah, I was thinking more in general, not about this. Yeah, I see. I know what you're saying, Will. I know what you're saying. Sith Lord asks, how was Rabid? I like it. I like the movie. It was really good. Definitely, I think it was definitely a worthy remake, and definitely a remake worthy of seeing. Will Gentry says, overall, would you recommend the Jumanji film? Definitely. I would definitely recommend it. It was funny. It was fun. Had a good time. And it does have, it's got something in it that kids will enjoy. My kids are ages 5 through 9, and they all enjoyed the movie. And matter of fact, I asked all my kids, like, what was your favorite part of the movie, and just things like that, and you know who your favorite character was and stuff. And my oldest daughter, she said that her favorite character was actually God, I can't remember his name all of a sudden. It was Danny DeVito's character in the movie, though. She said that was actually her favorite character in the movie, which I thought was funny because, you know, he wasn't in it a whole lot. He was in it enough, but then, you know, largely that role was played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and he did a good job doing that Danny DeVito thing in the movie. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Jumanji. If you liked Welcome to the Jungle, you'll like this one. You'll definitely like this one. It was a good movie. Aggressively Relaxed says, you are really bad things for not seeing Harriet. Yes. Sis Laura says, we're going to have to check it out. Wookiee Supremacy says, I'm not seeing Harriet. I already know I was born evil. No, I don't think the movie's really about that more than any, that Harriet's really about that. But, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, there are certain, you know, it was white people who, and I put that in quotes, white people who were keeping people enslaved. So, you know, I mean, hey, you know, we know that's going to be somewhat weaved in there, but hey, you know, that's the thing is that stuff is history, guys, and people hold on to that. Now, the thing is, like, you don't have to hold on to it. Don't forget it. But you don't have to hold on to it because it wasn't any of us that did any of that. That's the thing, is it wasn't us who did that. You know, that doesn't mean you have to forget what has happened. We don't have to forget our past. The stuff happened. And I'm not saying that's fine, but that's okay to not want to forget that. But to hold on to it as a thing, you know, we got to let go, man. We got to learn to let go and move on past it. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is some people probably out there saying, what do you mean we gotta let go? Like, bro, it didn't happen to you. You know, sure, you may still be affected by things like that, because there are still people who are out there who are just basically pieces of shit. There's no real other way to put it. There are still people out there who are pieces of shit. And that's that. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to, is individuals, not groups of people. And that's something I always stress on my channel when I'm talking about things, is a lot of these things are individuals, not groups of people, So yeah, there's that. Okay, so let's we got a few more minutes left, and we're going to talk about The Mandalorian episode 6. Let me know if you've seen it down in the comments below, and what you thought about it down there in the comments below. Aggressively says, "Go get your 23andMe done, Wookie." Dude, there's no way that it's not a white man bad movie. I mean, there's a way. I mean, it's just telling history. I mean, it's gonna make that, but that's not saying that it's a white man bad movie. Sith Lord says every race and country has had slaves committed a great evil. Oh yeah, completely agree there, Sith Lord. And that's the thing that so many forget. So many people don't take into account, is pretty much every race has been enslaved and had bad things done to them. And there's bad people in every race. There's bad people in I guarantee you, there's bad people in every form, in every life form, if you will, because I don't believe we're the only ones to exist in the universe. And that's just that's just the way it is, more than anything. But so yeah, Mandalorian episode 6. What can I say about this episode? It was okay. It's got plenty of action in it. We see plenty of other things where they're kind of tugging back on some, I don't know, I would say some history and some lore here as well, just things that have happened in the past. I think this is probably, as far as, there's 6 episodes so far, this is definitely in the bottom 3 of them. I think this is in the bottom 3 of them. And that goes with the Dave Filoni directed movies. And guys, I'm not one of those people that has any problems with Dave Filoni and, saying that, oh, he only knows how to do cartoons or anything like that. I'm not of that crowd. But Dave Filoni's 2 episodes that he directed were definitely the worst of all these movies. They're definitely the worst ones out there. Episode 1, I have my my issues with as far as pacing and kind of where that movie or where that first episode took us. But it's not a terrible episode. The second one that he directed, God, what was that? The Gunslinger, the one with Ming-Na Wen. While the episode wasn't terrible, it didn't do anything. It seemed like it wasted more time than anything. And with 8 episodes, you just don't have time for that. You don't have time to waste time. And because it was really only for that little reveal at the end, more than anything, and knowing that what's her name, Ming-Na Wen's character had got killed. That's really all that happened in the episode, and you could have tossed that in somewhere else easily. So those are the 2 worst episodes of the 6 episodes we've got, and I think this new one is down there with those. And again, that's not saying that it's bad and that it's terrible, but it's not one of the better episodes. I think the better episodes were episodes 2. What would it have been? 2, 3, and 4, if I'm not mistaken. There. And then I really don't have much else to say about that. This new episode, it had plenty of action in it, plenty of cool things happening, but I still don't feel like anything really important happened here. I'm sure by the time we get all of these episodes, once we have all the pieces, it will make a little bit more sense. But I don't feel that this one did as much for the story neither. One thing I did like about the episode was, I can't remember the guy's name, the actor that was in here. His Mando's friend that he goes to meet here on the little station there, with the gray hair and the beard and everything. He was in. I know he was in the movie Memento. I believe he was in Sons of Anarchy as well. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's great. I like that guy. I liked seeing him in this episode. There should have just been more of him, because he plays that character that he does really well. He seems to have played that same exact character in Memento. Just kind of a slimy guy that seems a little bit shady. He's good at playing that role. Clancy Brown, was in this episode. It was funny too because when we seen his character, I was something like, why does this guy look so familiar? Who is this? But I like Clancy Brown. He's a good actor. And then let's see, who else? Um, I mean, overall, this episode, it did some exciting things and it did some fun things, but to me, it felt like I don't know, just like I mean, it's a good thing that they're tipping their hat to the original trilogy and kind of building on some of that. But sometimes I feel like almost like they're doing it a little too much, and that's kind of what this seemed to do. It seemed to do things like that a little too much here once again. I would, it almost seems like from a pacing standpoint, it seems like like it went a little too fast. But in the situation, given the situations and everything that was going on at the same time, because I was thinking about that, it actually makes sense to why it would, once with some of the things that had happened here. But like I said, overall, it's not a bad episode. I just don't know how well it's serving the purpose in moving of the story moving forward or anything. Again, I mean, we got to get all 8 episodes before we'll really know that. But at this point, after these 6 episodes already, I kind of feel like this series hasn't really given us a whole lot and hasn't really done a whole lot for us, more so than just setting up season 2. You know what I mean? And again, we got 2 more episodes to go through, and I don't know. It's not a bad series. I'm just saying I don't know how good of a story that it's told so far to wrap everything up in the next two episodes. At this point, I'm feeling a little weary. But again, this wasn't a bad episode. Still good episode. Good action. Good things going on here. It did seem very highly predictable. It seemed like about everything that happened in this episode was very predictable, and there was some comedy in it, and I don't know, and just some of the characters in it as well. Like I can't remember what the life form is called, the ones that have kind of like what's her name, that they have the things coming out of their head, the two things. The main character, he was one of the main characters. He was basically what they were going after. He was basically the mission in this episode. I don't know who was playing that guy. I just don't feel like he did a very good job. I didn't care about the character, didn't care about anything he did. He could have not been in the episode. They could have just put somebody else completely irrelevant in that role, and it would have been just fine. I just don't think that character, his purpose was served very well, or they built the character up in any sort of way to make me even care about him or anything like that. Just didn't do anything for me. And again, I don't know. That's really all I got to say about it. Like I said, it wasn't a great episode. It wasn't a great episode. Like I said, I think the Dave Filoni episodes and this episode right here are definitely the worst of the bunch. And that's not to say they're terrible. They're just not that great. I feel like these 3 episodes, with the season overall, depending on how it ends, and I mean, it has to end really good, will be the reason. If it ends up not being like totally fulfilling overall the season, those 3 episodes are going to be a huge part of that reason. Why? Because, like I said, this one just didn't feel like it propelled the story forward, and it didn't seem to do much for us either. I guess it's kind of how I feel about the Fallen Angels issue this week. This issue right here, this comic book. This book is missing something that the other 2 issues had. It's missing this character right here, Psylocke, talking to Mr. Sinister. Something that I kind of missed in this book right here was her going to talk to Mr. Sinister and him, questioning her about and getting her uncomfortable and talking about things she don't want to talk about. It's missing in this particular issue of Fallen Angels, just like there's something missing in this episode as well of The Mandalorian. But I'm gonna go ahead and get through these last couple comments here, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Oh yeah, Bill Burr. Yeah, Bill Burr was actually pretty funny in his too. I didn't really like his character. I think he did what he was supposed to do in playing the role and everything. But I just the character, his character for me just wasn't believable. He just wasn't believable. But Bill Burr, I mean, he did kick ass though. But again, I just don't think his character was done very well. I don't think they really did that character justice. Sorry, I'm all blah, blah, blah. Aggressively relaxing says Jedi Master Filoni. He didn't spend that much time with George Lucas for you not to use his title. Fair enough. Aggressively relaxing says Ming Na Wen is 53. What the hell? I know. Yeah, she's getting. She's. I won't say she's kind of up there, but yeah, 53. She looks good. She really does. She really does. I like Ming Na Wen. I mean, I follow her on Twitter, unfortunately, but sometimes you follow people just to see, kind of like, when you watch Jersey Shore, just to see what stupid thing they do or say next, kind of like that. But I mean, yeah, I'm not saying she's a bad person or anything, but yeah. Perry Comics says, "Are we talking Mandalorian?" Yeah, just kind of, nothing spoilery or anything, but just kind of how I felt about it. Zulu Entertainment, hello, how are you doing today? Perry Comics says, "Dude, it's been nothing but filler. Looks amazing. Looks amazing. Characters are great, but what the hell is the plot? It's just Mando, Baby Yoda going around doing random missions. Pointless." Yeah, Perry, I feel what you're saying. It feels like it's that third episode. Um when you're reading a little 5-issue miniseries of a comic book and you get that third issue, it feels like that third issue, like the beginning of that third issue, just being drug on. You know what I mean? Just being drug on. It's like you're getting that build up, and you should have that tipping point in there to where you get into the end of the little story arc here, but it just drags on there before it makes that tip. Before it tips over and gives you the rest of everything. That's what it's really felt largely like. Yeah, I totally. Will Gentry says, "I've not watched The Mandalorian, but I've watched a number of people's reviews, and the whole thing's kind of underwhelming to me." It's not underwhelming. It's just we haven't seen the whole story yet to know how it's all ending, and it doesn't seem like it's getting. It doesn't seem like it's really going anywhere very fast. You know what I mean? Yeah. LB says, "I mean, he a bounty hunter." Perry Comics, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, there is that, but it seems like the missions are pretty very random, and like it's not building the story any, is what it feels like. And I think that's what we need to find. We'll find out in these next coming episodes, because we can obviously see here that they know that the Mandalorian is having problems with the guild, and obviously people still think there's only one Mandalorian out there, that there's not a whole team of them. We see that here in this episode as well. I'm True Skill says, "I think the MCU can pull off a Doom movie." I think they can eventually. Yeah, I think they can. A lot of people are wanting what's his name to play Doctor Doom, and I can't remember who it is they keep casting, but then everybody wants John Krasinski to come in and play Reed Richards, and I'm like, why not have Krasinski come in and play Doctor Doom? I think he'd be a brilliant Doctor Doom. I think he'd be great at that. I mean, come on, right? Am I wrong there? Wouldn't Krasinski make a great Doctor Doom? Maybe it's just me, but I think he'd be better. I think he'd be better playing that villain role, if you will. Aggressively relaxing says, "They made Xena with Star Wars. Just say thank you." Right? That's funny. Xena with Star Wars. A Sith Lord says, "Mr. Sinister is an awesome character." Yes. And I've really liked him in these Jonathan Hickman X-Men titles and everything so far. Been very good. Wookiee Supremacy says, "I'm not looking for a heavy plot. Like I expect from the theater movies. Mandalorian is fun. I'm having fun watching it. I'm happy." Yeah, I agree with you there. Though I do think that the story hasn't really gone anywhere. And hopefully they'll wrap that up in these next 2 episodes. And like I said, I'm not going to judge the whole series yet until I've seen it all. But just so far, it seems like they're spinning their wheels a lot. And like I said, we got 2 more episodes for it to all fall together and make sense. And that's one thing that I will say to anything is I'm still giving it a chance. I'm not saying it sucks or that it's terrible, because I still need to see all of it. Right now we're taking it out of context right now. You know what I mean? I need to see how it all goes and wraps up. And obviously it's not wrapping up because we're getting a second season. So there is that too. I mean, they got to still carry the story along, but they've got to do something in the story as well. Sith Lord says he needs better bounties that actually seem to be a threat. I hear what you're saying there. I mean, kind of, sorta. It just seems like the bounties have to mean something. They have to move the story forward. And I think maybe all of this will sort of start to tie together here as we get towards the end. Aggressively Relaxing says, "Bill Hader for Mr. Fantastic. That could actually work. You know, that could actually work. That could actually work. I'm not even kidding. That could actually work because I love Bill Hader. Bill Hader is great, and by that same token, why not Jason Sudeikis? Um, the Lonely Banter says, I don't like Mr. Sinister in the animated series. I haven't seen I haven't I don't know that I remember seeing him in the animated series. I haven't gotten that far into it yet. I haven't got that far into it yet. Biden Touch says, Mr. Touch to you, unless we have had carnal relations. Young Ripper says, instant asshole. Yeah, you like that? Instant asshole. Just add beer. Got that for Christmas from one of my friends, but yes, that's definitely me. Perry Comics says, and welcome, Young Ripper. Thank you so much for being here, man. Perry Comics says, I wouldn't mind filler if there was 20 episodes like Supernatural, but damn, only 8 episodes, and last 3, nothing really happened. Slight letdown. I will say it is a slight letdown in that in that sense. But again, we got 2 more episodes, so that they have to bring and come tie it all up. So hopefully they're going to be doing that in these next couple of episodes. But guys, it's already after 9 o'clock. Gone over just a little bit here. Thank you all so much for being here, guys. Don't forget that tonight, it's Friday. Tonight we got the Trailer Park Live getting ready to come up at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to talk a little bit about comic books before we get in and talk about a few other things. I don't have any guests planned for this evening, so I don't have any guests planned for this evening, so maybe it's just going to be me ranting and raving, since it seems like it's been a while since I've done that. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, make sure that you're, if you're not already, subscribe, all that good stuff right there. But have those notifications turned on so you know when I'm getting ready to go live at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But you all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tonight on the Trailer Park Live. Later.